Thank you for tuning in to the Perfect Timing Podcast. My name is Perfect of the Perfect Timing Podcast Network. I just like to do a brief introduction, station identification, and disclaimer really quickly. This is a podcast hosted by a professional podcaster, content creator, and YouTuber by the name of Perfect. Everything here is professional and meant to be as entertainment and for comedic relief. Nothing is meant to be bullying, maligning, insulting in any way or fashion, and is protected by the statute fair use that you see on the screen. Thank you for watching. Let's get to our intro.
Little something. I feel a lot of hate since I've been creating with hit. I'm feeling a lot of hate since I've been creating with hit. I gotta say what it is. It is. It's coming in. Hey. They're gonna try me, they on my body, no Illuminati. No way to describe me, no other word other than godly. I run it back to back to back to back, ain't no one beside me. I'm doing them grimy, yeah. I don't know what got inside me, yeah. Do-rag energy, I'm on a wave, you niggas cap. Give you the shakes like faces of death tapes when that lady got hit on the track. I'm seeing black, so I got a black, the magic is black, magic is black. What generation don't listen to knives, don't listen to rap. Spit on my platinum plaques. They probably spit on my grave for real. I split them like Puff and Mace for real, cause I got a budget to waste for real. Hit boy in the drum and the bass. Nobody jump on the stage. R.I.P. trouble, but niggas is acting like they want some trouble today. Let's go. I'ma say what it is, I'm the one taking the risk. Y'all creating the hate, but I be creating with hit. Ain't no way we can miss. Ain't no way we can miss. Ain't no way we can miss. Can't put a grade on my shit. Y'all should be ashamed of y'all list. I put some pain into this. I put my veins, blood, bone, soul. I put my brain into this. Y'all moving brainless. Anything to be famous. I'm a magician. You should listen, it's never the same tricks. 2020 when we did the first one. 5-hour run, not a cursed one. It's a blessed one. By the time y'all hear this, we be halfway through the next one. Bless up. All the rappers we lost are hoping they rest up. Back to my roots like Love. Still avoiding the extras. What will they say today? I came from carrying crates to touring through various states. I'm doing what's never been done to this day. Even the great could be on a plate. Nobody's safe. Abracadabra, so I'm in half and then reattach them. I'm doing magic. Can you escape? I gotta say what it is. I've been the one taking the risk. Y'all creating the hate, but I be creating with hit. Ain't no way we can miss. Ain't no way we can miss. Ain't no way we can miss. Can't put a grade on my shit. They're gonna try me, they on my body, no Illuminati. Killing them easy, God, I'm doing this thing as a hobby. I'm running it back to back to back to back, ain't no one beside me. I'm doing them grimy, yeah. I don't know what got inside me, yeah.
5.0, 5.0.
Yo, yeah.
Black Magic.
Can you believe that?
Black Magic,
You
let's
are
go.
doing juju. Africa,
Black Magic, let's go. 5.0. Turn me on, Black Magic. Black Magic, Nas here.
I feel a lot of hate since I'm creating a hit.
Rest in peace, Emmett Till, Louis Till. Black Magic, Black History, we going in. Show, get up, bitch.
It's coming in.
Get up, bitch, show.
Hey. They're gonna try me, they on my body, no Illuminati. No way to describe me, no other word other than godly. I run it back to back to back to back, ain't no one beside me. I'm doing them grimy, yeah. I don't know what got inside me, yeah. Do-rag energy, I'm on a wave, you niggas cap. Give you the shakes like faces of death tapes when that lady got hit on the track. I'm seeing black, so I got a black, the magic is black, magic is black. What generation don't listen to knives, don't listen to rap. Spit on my platinum plaques. They probably spit on my grave for real. I split them like Puff and Mace for real, cause I got a budget to waste for real. They playing the drum and the bass. Nobody jump on the stage. R.I.P. trouble, but niggas is acting like they was in trouble today. I'ma say what it is, I'm the one taking the risk. Y'all creating the hate, but I be creating with hit. Ain't no way we can miss. Ain't no way we can miss. Ain't no way we can miss. Can't put a grade on my shit. Y'all should be ashamed of y'all list. I put some pain into this. I put my veins, blood, bone, soul. I put my brain into this. Y'all moving brainless. Anything to be famous. I'm a magician. You should listen, it's never the same tricks. 2020 when we did the first one. 5-hour run, not a cursed one. It's a blessed one. By the time y'all hear this, we be halfway through the next one. Bless up. All the rappers we lost are hoping they rest up. Back to my roots like Love. Still avoiding the extras. What will they say today? I came from carrying crates to touring through various states. I'm doing what's never been done to this day. Even the great could be on a plate. Nobody's safe. cadaver, so I'm half and then reattach them. I'm doing magic, can you escape?
I gotta say what it is, I've been the one taking the risk.
Y'all creating the hate, but I be creating with hit. Ain't no way we can miss. Ain't no way we can miss. Ain't no way we can miss. Can't put a grade on my shit. They gonna try me, they on my body, no Illuminati. Killing them easy, God, I'm doing this thing as a hobby. I'm running it back to back to back to back, ain't no one beside me. I'm doing them grimy, yeah. I don't know what got inside me, yeah.
Ain't no way we can miss. This is your your list. Perfect timing is tip.
Can you believe that?
You must do your list. Ain't no way we can miss. Perfect timing is this. I got you, bitch.
And you know what I'm talking about, man.
Black magic.
Just fighting people. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day.
The founder.
To this day. You just sit here, you don't know what I'm talking about?
You gonna sit here and not know what I'm talking about? They probably never listen to Nas. They probably never listen to Nas. If the devil ain't showing up, then you ain't doing something right. If the haters ain't showing up, then you ain't doing something right. I know when I'm on to something because the whole world come against me. I know it's just, people might be saying, why you do this shit the way you do this shit? It's a gift. I do this shit because I was put upon me. I was chosen. If a motherfucker had a choice to do this shit for you sorry, no good, motherfucking non-supporting ass motherfuckers, that would not be my choice. My choice would be to kick every one of you pussies' ass and make you cry and pull up your skirt and show you for the bitch you is. I'm sick of this shit. So I do this because it's a gift. If I had a choice, I'll be with my white bitch. I do this because it's a gift. When it's a gift, you can't help but give. It's put upon you. Who gonna sing the song? Who gonna do the prayer? Who gonna count the money? A lot of times a person that ends up doing the task never really wanted to do the task. It's a charge. You ever heard of that? It's a charge. See, y'all so young. Y'all don't understand shit about shit. It's a charge. So when you got a charge, bro, you got to step up. It's no choice. It's what's needed. The family is what's needed. It's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of willpower. It's an all-around lack. And I'm going to tell you like this, the way my daddy and my big homie taught me, the lack of understanding comes from a desire. I've called it willful ignorance. You motherfuckers is willfully ignorant. Emmett Till, 82nd birthday today. This is the topic of the Black Manosphere Cool Table. Fuck everything else. I did everything else already. Fuck everything else. This is the topic. Emmett Till, 82nd birthday today. And I'm juxtaposing it against Black Barbie and the student loans. Because when you hear about the announcement that the presidential administration made today about Emmett Till, you understand why I juxtapose Emmett Till up against Black Barbie. Who's the motherfucker in the motherfucking building today? What's his motherfucking name? Perfect. What's his motherfucking name? Perfect. You motherfucking right. I came here and I didn't come to play. Y'all see what time it is. It's Taco Tuesday. Watch your motherfucking taco. We came here to get Bravo and Macho. I'm so sick and tired of these Barbie girls, man. It's a Barbie world full of Barbie girls. It's a Barbie world, you niggas Barbie girls. Every nigga plastic. 5.0 is the only one drastic. Man, the problem is everybody is a fucking pussy and everybody is a fucking baby. Every fucking chat, every fucking panel. I'm tired of you niggas, man. It's fucking embarrassing, bro. It's fucking embarrassing. Oh, Emmett Till, 82nd birthday. LeBron James' son Bronny James suffers from cardiac arrest. The Barbie movie today, Black Barbie is trending. When I did my Barbie episode, I told you about Mama Shirley, rest in peace. Mama Shirley had a $1,000 collection of Black Barbies. I did the Black doll test. So Black Barbie is trending. Black women are all over social media showing their Black Barbie collections and what it meant for them and their emotional stability to have a Black Barbie. How fucking important is that today on Emmett Till's birthday? But none of you motherfucking Black women ain't did a motherfucking true reaction to the Barbie movie and the lack of representation of a Black Barbie that first saw the face in the 1960s. How long ago is that? 40 years to 2000, that's over 60 fucking years ago. 60 fucking years ago. And it's not just a Barbie movie with pink, it's an Aryan movie. We have the Ukraine-Russia conflict. We have Nazis, the Azov Battalion. Here on the Perfect Timing podcast, the first Black man in the Black manosphere, I went to Chaotic Truth. Them niggas think they smart. There is no smart niggas. I'm tired of all you niggas. I'm not gonna say your name because you don't deserve for me to say your name. I'ma just say you $5 word ass niggas over there. Fuck all the PhDs in the space. I trained doctors. I said this before. PhDs is idiots to me. Fucking idiots. Fucking idiots to me, man. Nobody did the doll test. You niggas is PhDs. You niggas is PhDs. Not one PhD. This is a perfect opportunity to do the doll test. You know why they haven't done the doll test? You know why they haven't? Because PhDs are fucking stupid. Intelligence. You can have intelligence in a lot of different areas. You ever heard someone say you're book smart? Huh? Are you dumb on the streets? You street dumb, you lame. That's called being lame. You may have book smarts, but you come to the hood and you getting robbed. You may not make it out of here alive because you have book smarts. You have intelligence in one area, but you don't possess genius. Not like Perfect. Not like Black man Negroes of my ilk. No matter where I've gone in the world, no matter what state, country, no matter what globe part of the position, no matter what religious space, ethnicity, I've always rose to the top. Shout out to Mama Shirley. Mama Shirley retired as city manager. She got her job via CETA and affirmative action, but in order to promote, she had to test against the Asians, who's supposed to be the smartest people. My mother beat them every time. She scored an 100 percentile. Every time I get an opportunity, you want to test, if there's an opportunity for me to excel and be promoted, and it involves a fair exchange of me showing my intelligence and my skill, I'm gonna win every motherfucking time. It's in our nature. This is what Jesse Owens did. This is what Mike Tyson did. This is, God damn it. We come from a strong line of this. They separate us Negroes. They separate us from the Jacksons. They separate us. Why I gotta be separated from the Jacksons? When my Negro mama came from the Negro South, when Joe Jackson was fucking around with the neutrons in motherfucking Bay Area. Perfect time for you manosphere, you smart manosphere, you manosphere PhDs. Hey, Ism, I got a lot of respect for Ism, and Ism kept bringing up Black manosphere and a certain PhD, and I didn't want to go off on Ism or the PhD, but just so you know, Ism, I don't fuck with them. And I wouldn't do that on your platform. I'm gonna wait till my platform, on my microphone, on my platform, let a motherfucker know I don't fuck with them. I'm from the Bay. I'm really from the Bay. I'm just highly intelligent. Sometimes you can't, I don't have to talk slick. Every bit of game is not going to come to you in jive and lingo. You dealing with a motherfucking genius. No black doll tests, PhD niggas, 3-letter acronym niggas, black manosphere niggas, worried about the wrong shit. Worried about the wrong shit, talking about the wrong shit. If you would have been on this real black shit, everybody want to emphasize black manosphere. What black do niggas do? What black niggas don't even understand black? I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area where black was created by the Black Panthers in the Bay Area. Black power, red power, black as a political ideology birthed in the Bay Area. You niggas don't do nothing black. I'm gonna be honest, I have fun, I make jokes, you niggas don't do nothing black. And when you do it after me. Today, Black Barbie is trending. I'm gonna call my wife after this. I'm gonna tell my wife what I did, what we did. Thank God. Let's say a prayer right now. God, thank you for blessing me with this amazing gift and talent and platform and instilling in me the message and letting the message be broad and answering my prayers. I come to you with head bowed, eyes closed, giving many, many, many thanks. And I'll say a prayer over this podcast and a prayer for my enemies, because I'm coming. Amen. I'm coming. I've been held back too long. I've been held back too long on this YouTube shit. And I really thought about the best way to break myself free. But it's not a lot of men. So you see a lot of niggas from Chicago. It's a lot of Chicago. I believe the Chicago niggas work together behind the scenes. It's a lot of niggas from the East Coast. It's a lot of niggas from down south. So the way black men appear online, I'm not happy with it. I can't get with the way black men appear online. The down south black men, they promote this nigology, right? It ain't tricking if you got it and all it. Now there's a few. I got black men from down south who support me. That's on some real black shit, but it's rare. Oh, and they allow the narrative to be propagated from these southern gentlemen, right? I've talked about the lack of black consciousness in the South. I heard someone else who have to probably listen to me, who said, I've lived in the Bay Area, I've lived in Atlanta, and there's different black consciousness. The way black people relate to white people in Atlanta and down south is different than the way blacks interact with whites here. And there's a hierarchy that people don't discuss. Now, when we talk about Alabama, when we talk about these states, we never talk about that. East Coast. Different type of blackness. What's the black consciousness in the East Coast? Well, you have an overwhelming melanated population who is not AOs. You got Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, African. Overwhelmingly, the majority of the black people in New York are not ADOS. So then that explains to you why there's a certain type of consciousness coming from the East Coast. In the Midwest, it's predominantly white. So there's a different type of black consciousness in the Midwest, which is why black power started in the Bay Area. In California. We never talk about this, you PhDs, you fucking pieces of shit. We never talk about this. We never talk about the different myriads of black consciousness and how you niggas talk about environment all the time. Environment this, as it relates to bitches and pussy. Niggas who don't get no bitches and they don't get no pussy. Talking about environment. But the environment, if the environment doesn't change in the Manahan report and all this octane, all this pussy ass shit. The fuck that got to do with my son? What the fuck that got to do with black power and politics? The Black Barbie, Emmett Till, and what the Biden administration announced today. Who's writing anything? Who's tweeting? Who's discussing it on an intellectual? Like, you niggas be trying to sound so smart about relationships and pussy, and you ain't getting no pussy. I'm a monk in the Sigma, and all this stupid ass shit. I'm sick of you niggas, blood. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting when there's real work to be done out here. This is why it's a fucking farce. This is why it's a fucking joke. Fucking Barbie girls. Fucking Barbie girls. Black doll test. They've done it 3 times. The first Barbie, coincidentally, Francie, the first Barbie, 1967, coincides with one of the first doll tests where they found a need. Why black women, and speaking to Myron, a fresh and fit FBI motherfucker, why he ain't a snitch? Myron, FBI motherfucking ass Myron, who said there's no such thing and nothing holding you back today. But they have a recent doll test. And what I explained to Myron is, those same black women and white women who saw the black doll as violent, angry, and mean are now your hiring managers, Myron. You stupid fuck you. Stop calling yourself black. You're not black. He's doing that as a joke. When Myron calls himself black, that's an N-word joke, and him and his racist friends laugh at it. Because when he was a Fed, he treated you like shit, and he used that shit to get you to tell on yourself and get promoted. He's not black. His mama ain't black. His grandfather ain't black. He don't know nothing about chattel slavery. And I'm going to keep saying chattel slavery because they change in history. And if you don't say chattel slavery, then nobody will know about the castration. Nobody will know about the beheadings. Nobody will know about the separation. Nobody will know about the buck breaking. If you don't say chattel slavery, then they will think that somehow your ancestors benefited from having their penis cut off. Somehow your ancestors benefit from getting tied to 2 horses and having their legs ripped apart. Somehow your ancestors benefit from having their babies snatched from their fucking womb and thrown to alligators for bait. Somehow your ancestors benefited from that. So we're going to keep saying chattel slavery. All you Barbie girls in the black manosphere, it's chattel slavery because the history is changing now. Why you worried about pussy? Why you worried about octanes? Why you niggas are listening to non-married niggas and single dry dick niggas about pussy? There's real things happening in the marriage. It's an election year. Every time there's an election, it's like God gives me this platform, this energy to talk this shit so that people are intelligent about what's happening in America, especially from a black male perspective. There's nothing to talk about when it comes to relationships right now. It's an election year. You got Tim Scott running for president. You got a real intelligent black man, what's his name? Cornel West running for president. And when we finally talk about it, it's going to be some stupid niggas making a joke. You know, the same niggas that say Hotep. There's going to be some country down south ass niggas making a joke about Cornel West running for president. There's going to be some black manosphere niggas making a joke about Tim Scott. Because the black manosphere is a fucking joke. The black manosphere is a fucking joke. I don't even know why I get sucked into this black manosphere shit. I really have an affinity for black men, but I don't know why I get sucked into this black manosphere shit because I'm not included. Like Cube said, I'm not in the club. I'm not included in the black manosphere. I go to the Roger Report panel, but that's it. And then motherfuckers in the chat be acting like bitches. So you don't see me on the Roger Report panel no more. But when I float around the black manosphere and I listen to the panels, it's the same bullshit, bro. It's the same gatekeepers. It's the same sacred cows, and it's the same people keeping us marginalized. Talking about octane 10 years later. Even if the octane conversation was a decent conversation, we're supposed to move the conversation forward. We're supposed to move the conversation forward. And I've moved the conversation forward. I've moved the conversation forward to the next progressive step. What is the next progressive step? For the pussies who gonna watch this in the replay. For the pussies who don't, let me put my link in the chat. For the pussies who gonna watch this in the replay. For the pussies who gonna watch this in the replay. For the Barbie girls in the Barbie world, that's the black manosphere. What do you mean, Perfect, that you moved it forward? Number one, I created 5.0. I changed the Black manosphere when I created 5.0. Change the direction. You can listen to the Black Brain Trust and have them and listen to where they broke down 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. I changed the Black manosphere when I coined the phrase 5.0. Beyond that, what I recently have discovered is that the Black manosphere, and you can listen to 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 conversation from the Black Brain Trust, did a lot of great work between 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. And when I played that Daphne comedian, the Black female comedian who has mother and a father and a flat stomach, a beautiful woman who's 30 and unmarried, she went viral for her comedy because the comedy skit I said was an ode to the Black manosphere. Black manosphere slept on it. You know, it's a problem with that. And basically she was saying that my expectations as a Black woman have to change with 2023 reality. That Black men are no longer a footstool, and they are actually one of the most viable men in the dating market, and they can date anyone who they want, just like Black women could date anyone who they want. And if I want a decent Black man, I'm going to have to change my perspective on what I believe a decent Black man is, has, and looks like. Right? So we've made strides with this male-female shit. But where are we now as Black men, as a collective group of men, right? It's a lot of work we've done on helping men with relationships and dealing with women, growing up in single-parent homes. But where are we as men with the fractional consciousness, the different panels, the different levels of it? Like the young Black men don't deal with the older Black men. The young Black men say they're not Black manosphere. These players over here say they're not Black manosphere. The Black manosphere think that they're holier than thou. It's a fractured consciousness. If you're non-Black and you're looking at Black male content creators, you gotta laugh. We don't talk about it. It's a fractured consciousness. So I'm gonna give you this, and then I'm gonna get to my topics today. Black magic. I'll do magic on this bitch, man. So you always talk about the Moynihan report and all this goofy shit. That's 60 years old. So look, how do we move the conversation forward for actual Black men? So how do we got here? We got here by the understanding that, and a lot of people talk about this now, because we've done so much good work. They recognize what happened with civil rights, welfare, and kicking the father out the home was detrimental to the Black family and the Black community, right? All kind of downstream ramifications while incarceration. We talked about single-parent households being the number one driver of incarceration and the number one driver of low test scores, right? As it relates to the prison pipeline and as it relates to the affirmative action, and we're going to get to the student loans, right? So I said, we focus on the fact that the father was kicked out the home. And we've discussed to nauseam what the downstream effects and ramifications of that was. Where are we as Black men? What also happened when that father was removed from that home? What happened when that father was removed from the home? The Blackness was also removed from the home. What do you mean, Perfect? If you go back and watch the movie Fences, and Denzel Washington interacts with his young son, his grown son, and his best friend, all Black men on different levels of Black consciousness. A lot of people see the film in different ways, the interaction between his wife, they focus on the son, but there's different levels of Black consciousness and maturation in the film. I don't know if you ever caught that. But there's one level of consciousness and understanding of what it is to be a Black man in America from the son's perspective. And the son gets an awakening. The son gets his Black card from his father. There's another level of Black consciousness and the Black understanding of what it is to be a Black man in America from his grown young adult son who smokes weed, drinks alcohol, and plays music. And if you listen to the movie, he has a solo where he explains what it is to be black in America. His son has a solo where he explains what it is to be a black man. His best friend, who was jealous of him because he has a side bitch and he got promoted, has a different understanding of what it is to be a black man in America. His wife has a different level of black consciousness as a black woman. What happens when Denzel Washington is made to leave the home? And then that same black woman is now granted white privilege. This is the confusing part of the Carly Russell story. Of all of these stories lately with black women that black men find confusing because we're not moving the conversation forward. What happens in that home to those other black men who are dealing with dueling levels of black consciousness? But see, Denzel Washington had the elevated level of black consciousness via perspective. Remember Nipsey Hussle said, "Get you some money, nigga. Get you some money." What did he mean by get you some money? Pac said the same thing. Money, of all things it does, it grants you perspective. Because when without money, you're so low, there's things that are invisible to you. And with money, you're elevated to a position of perspective where you can see. And you feel seen. And the only thing you want is the next level of that perspective. More money, more power, more influence, which is, i.e. equals perspective, foresight, vision, the ability to see forward. That's what Bill Gates has. That's what his money provides him. He can plan the future, the ability to see perspective. Denzel Washington had a greater perspective, which is why he can impart the knowledge upon individuals who had not maturated to that point, who had not matriculated to being a leader amongst all men. When he's driving the garbage truck, he's the boss of white men, Hispanic men, and black men. He has a wife and he's having a child with the woman on the side. He makes enough money to take care of his family, lend his friend $5, and give his adult son a few bucks. He's extremely unique. As a black man, and he's still black, when he comes home, he needs to have a drink and tell his wife he needs to have a woman on the side that he can fuck like a dog. No one ever talked about that. This is the blackness. We get treated like shit. But he needed a woman on the side to get out his frustration, because what he found when he came home, dealing with his son, his older son, his best friend, that nobody really, he wasn't able to outpour himself. When he tried to explain to everyone about how difficult it was to be perfect, nobody listened. When he tried to explain to his wife and his best friend about how difficult it was to take the promotion, how everyone looked at him, not just his co-workers, but the individuals. He had been in the army, his father in the army. He's a respectable black man, a respectable man, period. Humanize me. Everybody seeing me drive this truck like they don't see me drive every day. Y'all understand? I'm trying to send something home about what it means to be a black man in America. It's not just his co-workers. It's not just his wife. It's everybody he interacted with. Every time he picked up garbage, even the black man, if he picked up garbage from a black household, they looked at him funny, y'all, because they never seen the black man driving the garbage truck. They never seen the black man being a boss. So that heavy weight lift stayed upon him. And every day he came home, everyone in the house knew Dad was black. We are black. Dad deals with black issues, and he's moving us forward as black family, black people. He's making a huge sacrifice as a black man. When that black father, it's not just the father being removed, it's when the black father was removed. The father was not just removed, the blackness was removed. So then you have black women given white privilege, free rent, free jobs, and then they raise their children as non-black melanated people. What happens when you raise a black boy in a non-black structure? construct where you end up with a black male child who doesn't see the brother and the blackness in his counterpart. And he's able to kill for no reason. Rest in peace, Gilly the Kid's son. Gilly the Kid had a video. He said, y'all not even killing no people for money. You just killing for fun. Black boys now kill other black boys for entertainment. The same way white men chased down Emmett Till and killed Emmett Till knowing he did not do anything. This is how black boys treat other black boys. The same way Lewis Till was falsely accused and murdered for fun is the same thing black boys now do to other black boys. You have to ask yourself, where did this consciousness come from? Where did this consciousness come from that allow young black male children to not see the other black person as a human, not only as a brother, as another black man, but as human? The women that are raising these children don't even respect other black men as human, so they raise children, male and female, the city girls, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Sukihana, who don't see black men as actual men. So their children see you as an op. You're not the father, you're not the uncle, you're an op. Have anyone spoke to their nephew lately? Does anyone have a 20-year-old nephew, son? Have you spoke to him lately? Have you ever tried to give him game? He doesn't treat you like you're human. If you're not in a gang with them and they're not very smart individuals because they didn't learn how to read, they didn't learn problem solving, they're not analytical thinkers. So if you're an uncle, if you're a father, if you're a big brother, you can be easily considered an op. We're not discussing this. If you're an uncle, if you're a big brother, if you're a father, you can be considered an op. Ricky Smiley talks about these young men killing their parents, robbing their parents' home, meeting someone in the street, thinking that they're part of a gang, taking them people back to their parents' house and robbing their own parents. This is 2023. So for anybody listening to the intro in my first few minutes, as I discussed the Barbie girls and the black manosphere, what I said is we have to move the conversation forward. I've moved the conversation forward with the creation of 5.0. And I believe the reason why 5.0 hasn't been as successful as it is because of the gatekeepers and the sacred cows that exist in the space who want to keep you marginalized. And I've given you the talking point on how to move the space forward as black men for black men, dealing with the Moynihan report, dealing with what happened in civil rights, dealing with not only the fact that fathers and men were removed and how the sons and daughters and wives were affected by men being removed from the home, but dealing with how blackness was removed at the same time and how those fathers, sons, mothers dealt with the new identity and new consciousness. Because the Negro blackness that created a Martin Luther King, that created a Jesse Owens, that created a Huey P. Newton was removed from the home. It wasn't just that they killed these men. They removed these men who followed these men, who believed in these men, who learned from these men from the home. They removed blackness out of Black America. They incarcerated blackness. Blackness is what's that word, y'all? Inculcated in black men. So when they remove your father, when they removed all the men out the neighborhood, the blackness was removed. People say the protection, no, the blackness, our ethnicity, our culture, our identity, who you are without your dad. Have you ever talked to a child who doesn't get to be around their father? You remind me of your daddy. I hate you. And all you do is think about how can I remind you of my father? I've never met my father. How could you hate me because I remind you of my father when you chose my father? We not having a real conversation in the black manosphere. We not. We're not having a real conversation in the Black manosphere. And when we have it, I believe it will become a beacon to all of the fractured consciousness that exists on YouTube. When we start to have a real conversation and we deal with the gatekeepers of the Black manosphere and the sacred cows, and we start to have a progressive conversation, I believe it will be a beacon to all of those fractured consciousness within the Black manosphere. And it will have the in-group, out-group effect on those pussies. We need to do, because these pussies are going to bring us down, and they will be laughing. Just like in 300, that dude with the hunchback, we have so many hunchbacks in the Black manosphere, and these pussies are going to bring us down. They live for it. They call it trolling, but these pussies live for it. These pussies flag. These pussies doctrinate. They dox people. That's all they come here for. But I have 20-year-old sons. When I see LeBron James, when I see Emmett Till birthday, this is what powers me to do this. I don't do this because I get love and support and cash out. I don't get that. And it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of creativity. That's why I pray and I thank God. God gives me my reward. That's why I keep going, because God is so good to me. All my toys, all my lights, all my microphone, these are toys. And God keeps blessing me with all these things. So that's why I keep doing it. I'm not doing it because Black men appreciate what I'm doing. I'm not doing it because Black men comprehend what I'm saying. That's not why I'm doing it, because there ain't no Black men here. You know, I look at my analytics, you know who watch me? Black women. For all the things I say about Black women, you know who watch me? Women. And my mom never called me beautiful. I've met some beautiful women in my life, but my mom never referred to me as good looking. But my analytics are overwhelmingly women. That's why I came up. In my shorts, you see my face, because women like me. Bitches like me. How I talk. And when my views go up and down, it's not because Black men, it's because the women who love and support me may not like or may not be used to the machismo. I get it, but I'm never changing. I'm never changing. This is who I am. So when they talk about the Black manosphere and moving the conversation forward, let them know, brothers, we ain't on pussy in 5.0. We ain't on relationships in 5.0. We're on brotherhood. We're on Blackness. We're on Black Power, FBA, ADOS, Negro. Because what's happening is, devoid of that, no one will know what chattel slavery is. Shout out to Nasir Jones. No one will know who created hip hop. No one will know the history of the Negro. No one will know what happened in the 1960s. That the father weren't just removed, but the Negro was removed. And the Negro consciousness that birthed Black power and Black geopolitics, that's what they removed from the home. And that's what the conversation needs to be in the Black manosphere going forward. How the Black community and Black family was affected when the Black father, not just father, when Black father, i.e. Blackness, was removed from the home. We can break down how the father is the purveyor of culture and what actually happened to the Black family and to the Black home, the Black church. We've talked about Black men leaving the Black church. The Black man left the Black church because the Black man was no longer at the Black home as the head of the household, telling everybody, get dressed on Sunday morning, we going to church. So the Black man was removed from the Black home, removed from the Black church, removed from the Black school. Are y'all listening? There was no Blackness left. When this happened, when the drugs came in, the gangs came in, the prison came in, and Black men were removed, there was no Blackness left. We focused too much in this space on men, because I think we got the wrong people leading the space. We focus too much on men and women and how much sex and whether or not you believe marriage is a good deal. I thought Kevin Samuels put that to bed. In 2023, we still got Negroes talking about marriage is not a good deal. Just, blood, go to bed, blood. Just go to bed, blood. We not on that. This is why I fuck with Truth as I know it. Because he's a successful, married, functional, financially, Alonzo Hall. Successful, married, functional. Alonzo Hall don't have nobody watching him. Truth as I know it don't have enough people watching him. But you guys watch old men who were unsuccessful in life financially, in marriage, in spirituality. Come on, brothers. You pay attention to men who were unsuccessful in life, in marriage, with relationships. They got fucked up families and kids. Unsuccessful financially. They're not wealthy at 65 years old. Truth as I know it, will be wealthy. Unsuccessful in spirit. These are not men. I do sermons. I pray. These are, you follow men who are not even rich in spirit. This is the problem with the Black manosphere. How can you listen to a man about relationships who hasn't shown you a proven track record? This is what happened with the guy with Tulsa, the Tulsa Financial Fund. What's his name? Jay Morrison, about a vest, and now he stole all the money. Boyce Watkins is still trying to cover up for him. He was a criminal. He didn't have a proven track record. If you listen to any of the white men who talked about Jay Morrison, they were like, you were stupid to invest that much money with him. He's never done that before successfully. Jay Morrison is atypical of what's going on in the Black manosphere. It's full of Jay Morrisons. Niggas selling y'all niggas a dream. Invest in Tulsa. I'm gonna help you get some pussy. Buy a passport. Go abroad. All this goofy shit. Old decrepit failures. You listening to old failures, washed up, looking flabby and sick. If you're gonna listen to somebody, man, find someone, because what the panel said the other day about being alpha and being a parent, which you could never know unless you've been a parent and raised successful children. They judge you by your fruit. See, this is the thing about these guys. Unless you've been a parent and know how difficult it is to raise successful children, unless you've been a husband and know how difficult it is to have a successful marriage, then you can't talk about it. But if you're a young man and you're striving for that and you have a mentor, God bless you. If you're a young man and you're striving for that and you have a mentor and you understand what I'm saying, perfect, this shit is hard. Raising a child to be successful is difficult. And I'm intelligent, I got my master's. Perfect. Staying married is hard. My wife got her master's. I got her master's, 2 Black people, and we go through it all the time. It's difficult. So I have a mentor. We go to church, and I talk to an older Black man who's been married, like Black Uru, and I learned so much from him that I didn't know how difficult it is, and it's work every day. Perfect. Thank you for everything you're teaching. We don't do that. We in the chat. We talking about how marriage is a bad deal. That's so fucking defeatist and stupid. There's no wealth in America without marriage. There's no wealth in America. There's no political power without marriage. Stop telling Black men marriage is a bad deal. Focus on how to create a successful marriage. That's what Hafez beat Just Pearly Things on. Hafez said, he said, I don't like the Black manosphere because all you guys do is focus on the bad part of the marriages. Well, 30% of the marriages are successful. Why don't we unpack that percentile? And he said, you know what you find when you unpack that 30% of successful marriages is what me and Hassas and Black Uru always talk about. There are a lot of factors that are in common with these people across race. It doesn't matter Black or white. What matters is you both come from a 2-parent household. You both come from the same religion. You both have the same socioeconomic background. You both have the same goals. When these things line up, and it lines up across the board, for all of the 30th percentile who've been married over 20 years, number one, they're happier. The women are happier. The women look better. The men are healthier, and the men look better. Married men are happier who have been successfully married. Married women are happier. And they all have these same things in common. The people who have been successfully married weren't just fucking for fun. They weren't just going to the club. There are things that make you successful as a business. Shout out to Hassas and Wharton School of Business. When I created my company, when you create business, there are things you do. Repetition, practice makes perfect. There are things you do when you create a company, when you run a business to guarantee success. There are things you do in a marriage, which is a company, which is a contract, that you do to guarantee success before you break ground. Before you break ground, before you need a business plan. You need a business plan. You need a business plan. There were two black women called Married Women Business, and they talked about a marriage plan. Everyone now knows post-pandemic about the LLC, the EIN, and the business plan. People are selling business plans. Do you have a marriage plan? Did you have one before you got married? As a little girl, as a little boy, did you draw up your business plan, i.e. your marriage plan? That's what we could be doing in the Black manosphere. We could be teaching young men to draw up a marriage plan alongside their business plan, because you're not getting married without a business plan and a mission statement. So when that woman comes up to you and she sees you on your mission, creating your battery that charges itself, you have a business plan, you have a mission, and you know what will seal the deal on that marriage being successful? Oh, as a child, I always wanted my own company. My father helped me create my business plan. I already have a patent. I just need the funding. But you know what? My father didn't just teach me about business and having a business plan and how to be successful in my company. I created a marriage plan with my father as a child of what my wife and my family, what will we be, where we live, go to school, to make sure that when I get married, the marriage is successful. I created a marriage plan, not just the business plan. And my company has a mission statement of what I want to do with my battery that recharges itself. So my marriage plan and my family, you see, I named my kids I named all my kids with a certain name, a certain prefix, a certain enunciation. There's something behind my entire family. I'm building an image. I'm doing magic. These things didn't happen until I got married, till I started having children, and in my brain, the synapses started firing on different levels, and I just didn't name my children. When I was naming my children, I was creating a crest, I was creating a path, I was creating magic, because they both have similar names. I studied the names. I studied the history. I was incorporating all these things into my marriage plan, into my family plan. They're not just names. They're not just names. They're not just names. Some women have the names of their children written down. It compels that man to make her his wife. Some women, when you meet them, they know already, I'm getting married here, I'm never getting divorced, I'm having this many children, and these are their names. And you are my husband. Has that ever happened to you? Shout out to KP from KC5, and I got Black Warrior Spirit. I see you, brothers. I'll be cooking. So, you know, it's not ignoring you at all. I love you for coming through and supporting. And I thank God for my elevation, because I'm not really upset at the viewership and people not watching me, because I know God has a calling on my life. So I spit this shit because he asked me, he told me to. He gave me a charge. So what my brother KP said, pure self-hatred, no value in blackness, inculcated. Thank you, KP. Some intelligent brothers, man, in the Black manosphere, Black brothers. And I believe it's a lot of brothers just waiting for the right person to step up. And I've been doing my thing, man. And so all we got to do, brothers, is keep faith in God. Because the pieces of the puzzle is here, and God is doing his thing. And the one thing about spirituality and faith when it comes to this shit is, like, I can't remove some of the people because it's virtual. It's in God's hands. These gatekeepers, these sacred cows, these people keeping us marginalized, these Jay Morrisons of the Black Manosphere, it's in God's hands because I can't remove them. I shouldn't say can because my father said we don't say can. But the way things are designed, the only way for me to remove them is through the nameless cool table principles of creating this space to be so cool that it makes the out group mimic the in group of the cool space that we've created. Black Warrior Spirit, happy birthday to Emmett Till, RIP King. Want some get back still. Peace and blessings. Perfect Timing Podcast, California Bay Area, tapping in. Already been going an hour, man. Hey, I seen Pastor. Everybody be watching. Motherfuckers be hate watching my channel to get ideas and I'm not mad. My name is perfect. The internet named me perfect. I'm not mad that people copy me. I mean, you're supposed to copy success, right? So I seen Pastor $40 on the Kev Gills. He called in the Kev Gills. That was pretty cool. Like, and Pastor is a very intelligent young brother. So I'm happy he called in to Kev Gills. And I just pray, brothers, if you've heard me talk about Kev Gills and you want to listen to his podcast and you haven't listened to his podcast, if you go to Kev Gill's podcast because you heard his name on the Perfect Timing podcast, please talk to me about it first. Even if you consider yourself to be intelligent, because Pastor is very intelligent. I just wish he would have talked to me first before he went to go to Kev's. But he did a good job. So salute the pastor for tapping in, and I'm happy he was there. So you're in the right place, Pastor. If you're going from my podcast and you're going to Kev Gill's podcast as a young, intelligent black man, you in the right place, brother. This is the type of shit that's going to grow, you know what I'm saying, grow you mentally past this space. And you're going to be like looking like perfect with perspective. Like, what is these niggas talking about? Like, because Perfect is talking about this shit. Kev Gill's is talking about this shit. What is you niggas talking about? Kev Gills is talking about Yale University and acknowledging the Black American Negro Holocaust, a Negro Holocaust, not Panamanian, not Jamaican, you know what I'm saying? Not Puerto Rican, a Negro Holocaust here in America. Yale University, that was announced. As they're trying to change high school curriculums, if you look at college curriculums, which the feds can't get to, right? Negro Holocaust. If you're wondering what Kev Gills and what Pastor $40 is doing over there, Kev Gills is teaching about the Negro Holocaust. And then in and out of his history lesson, he brings it all full forward, and he talks about Princess Priscilla, Charleston White, as a downstream effect of the American Negro Holocaust. What? So it's American Negro Holocaust. What happened? What are we dealing with in 2023? Well, we're dealing with Charleston White and we're dealing with Princess Project Priscilla as a result of the American Negro Holocaust. That's what we have. That's what's going on right now. Hey, Deborah, don't start teaching. You have to wait for people to find you in your knowledge. Thank you, Deborah. I love you so much, sis. And it's good to see you whenever I see you. I'm happy because I don't get to see you as much as I did before because, I've been back and forth, but we back. We back in black, baby. So whenever I see my 5.0 representers, I get really excited, man, because, I just, motherfuckers is dropping like flies. LeBron James' son, 18 years old, had a heart attack. I was in the hospital last week. Nobody checked on me, but it's all good. LeBron James' son had a heart attack. So whenever I see you guys and I appear excited, I'm genuinely excited. It means a lot, man. It does, man. So it's good to see you, Deborah. And God bless you and yours, man. And thank you for the kind words of encouragement. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Put my spectacles on. Let's get into this work. Put my spectacles on. Let's get into this work. Let me share the show. Did I share the show? Put my spectacles on. You blind. You can't see. You need to wear some glasses like DMC. You blind. You can't see. You need to wear some glasses like DMC. I had glasses as a kid too. I always lost my glasses. You know how expensive it is for black parents to get, glasses for a kid and then you lose them. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't. It's like back to the fences. My black father, I remember my black father had to go through all this stuff to get a position and get a promotion and all this shit just to get insurance, just to be able to get me some motherfucking spectacles. He wore glasses. My father, he showed me so many things as far as culture. And I just love my dad. His birthday coming up. My dad was a scuba diver. He had bifocal lenses in his scuba glasses, scuba goggles. This nigga was like a 00. I love it. My father, like Superman, like I just looked up to him and I admire him so much. I love you, Dad. And sorry I kept losing my glasses like that. But because I understand now what it is to have the insurance that you had, everything you went through to make sure that we had. So I thank you for that, man. I love you for that, man. So I had glasses even as a child, but I wasn't very responsible. But so now I really appreciate, I got my eyes tested and it's like a new world. So I get like, I guess as a child, I didn't appreciate, this is a great metaphor for us today, a great analogy for us today. I didn't appreciate the lenses as a child because I believed I didn't need them. I believed I could see, but I actually couldn't. Now think about that, y'all. I was blind, but now I see. So as a child, so I was, because of being embarrassed, I was okay with having a cloudy vision. See, this is what it means to be cool for blackness today. It's not cool to have clear perspective. It's actually cool to not actually be able to see. Excuse me. That's the cold part. It's actually cool to not be able to see. Because everybody else got blinders on. And when you start acting like you can see the emperor has no clothes, then people get scared and people don't want to hang around you. And you start to look around at everybody else and you be like, okay, there's no, everybody else not see the emperor has no clothes. I mean, it's happening right now in 2024. I mean, we have a president going on 90 years old. He's going to be president for the next 4 years. We can't even discuss his mental capacity. Not today. 4 years from now, half a decade. Bill Gates said we're not going to be a world power by 2030. Why would we go into this next phase of America with a 90-year-old man? And we got so many baby boomers. The majority of the country, over 60% of the country, is baby boomers. This is why you can't have a conversation. This is why the black manosphere is so marginalized. Because the baby boomers, as soon as you bring it up, will say, there's nothing wrong with his age. I'm doing more. I'm smarter than that. Shut the fuck up. 5 years from now? 5 years from now, how old is Biden? Somebody put in the chat. How old is Biden? Because this conversation is not happening. How old is Biden? Add 5 years to that. And that's how old the United States president. It's like a king. It's like a monarchy. It's where the people are saying, we love you, but we need a new king. You know what I said? Thank you, KP. KP said nearly 80. So 5 years from now, he'll be 85, nearly 90 years old. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But what does it say about your country's talent pool? I got into a debate with an older guy, and he was like, there's nothing wrong with him. And I was trying to explain to him about war. We're at war. And I said, okay, exactly. My grandmother who just passed away, and she couldn't be no president. So I said, what do you call a kingdom with the 85-year-old king? And the older black man thought he was smart, and he said a kingdom. And I said, you know what I call it? Food. What do you call a kingdom? KP from KC5 said he'll be 89 fucking years old. KP, I have a question. What do you call a kingdom with the 90-year-old king? Baby boomers, the niggas I was talking about in the intro, they would probably say he's still a king, it's a kingdom. You know what I call a kingdom with a 90-year-old king? Food. I call it food. And you know what's so scary about it is that no other men understand my perspective, that I'm not putting down Biden. I'm saying as American men, how do you see us as a kingdom with a 90-year-old king? Where is our young, vital, virile, we should have been created. You're judged by the fruit on your tree. Where is that young prince? Where is that young king that will bring this country, this kingdom for a next millennia? Where do we go with the 90-year-old king? We go nowhere. This is the end of our kingdom. You don't see it? Europe, America, there's no forward with the 90-year-old king. He's not thinking ahead 1,000 years for his grandchildren. You need a young king. You need a young king. You need a young king. I'm not hating on old people. I want men. I'm talking to men. Love you, Deborah. Men who play chess, who understand foresight. He is your king at 90. Remember what Killmonger said. Is this your king? Because I'm coming for you. Are you sure? Are you sure this is your king? Because I'm coming. All right. Emmett Till. I'm perusing the interwebs for a topic. Going live every day is not easy. People think it's easy. It's not easy. I'm perusing the interwebs, and I see Emmett Till trending. I see Black Barbie trending. I say, I'm going to do Black Barbie, but my audience has liked when I've done multiple, and I'm thinking about the Joe Budden podcast. In the Joe Budden podcast, they bring up a visual graphic of about 10, 15 things to talk about. They only go live 3 times a week. My goal would be to go live 3 times a week because it's very difficult to generate stories every day, but I'm blessed, and God continues to bless us with awesome content on a daily basis. Who would know today was Emmett Till's birthday? I didn't know. Should have known, didn't know. I'm ashamed I didn't know. But rest in peace, happy birthday to Emmett Till and the Till family. Now, and doing this research, what I found today, let's read this and then let's talk about the announcement that was made today. Happy birthday to Emmett Till. He would have been 82 years old today. At just 14, 2 white men kidnapped and brutally murdered him through mutilation. Chattel slavery. Chattel slavery. It's important that this story is being broadcast today because it's in the shadow of Florida saying that blacks benefited from slavery. It's important that we talk about this today because it's in the shadow. the looming shadow of Florida presidential candidate Ron DeSantis saying that blacks benefited from slavery. It's important to talk about this today because it's in the shadow, looming shadow of the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre, race massacre, last living descendants being denied recompense. So it's important to talk about that he was kidnapped as we talk about Carlee Russell, a false kidnapping, and we wonder, why did she do it? Why in Alabama? Why was it a global story? Maybe it has something to do to take off the sting and the stench from Emmett Till. Oh, them niggas gonna be talking about this ignorant girl. 25-year-old little girl who made a young mistake. You know the type of dumb shit I did in my 20s? So them niggas gonna be talking about this little girl instead of focusing on real shit. Distracted. He was kidnapped and mutilated and tortured. So it's important that we tell a story because next week, Ron DeSantis might say it was his fault. He whistled at a white woman, even though that was wrong. Or to imply that whistling at a white woman can equate that to torture and death. It's not far off, you guys, before some white man comes and says that Emmett Till caused his own death. Because that's what we are today. For anybody saying, why are we talking about this? This is why we talking about it. Because just this week, Florida said, just this week, a presidential candidate said blacks benefited from slavery. That's why we talking about it, because it's the Black Manosphere. So at age 14, 2 white men kidnapped and brutally murdered him through mutilation for whistling at a white woman that never happened. Days later, Carolyn Bryant admitted to lying that Emmett Till made a pass at her. Lied. She lied. And she was able to die a free woman. These are the 2 men who murdered Emmett Till. This is a brother and husband, I think. And this is the lying woman. And unlike Bill Cosby, who was arrested and given 10 years at 80 years old, blind, crippled, and crazy, this woman was 80 years old, and she was allowed to live out her life after causing this tragic kidnapping and brutalating murder. So as we talk about Carlee Russell and what punishment Carlee Russell will receive, don't forget about this white woman who lied on Emmett Till, who resulted in an actual kidnapping, an actual mutilation, actual torture, and actual murder. Don't forget about that. As people say, it's no big deal. That's why Perfect is doing this story. For everybody who wants to say Carlee Russell ain't no big deal, I compared Carlee Russell to this white woman who caused Emmett Till's death and lied about Emmett Till's death. Cole Black, shout out to Cole Black. Cole Black is a subscriber of the Perfect Timing Podcast. Cole Black comes to and fucks with me. I didn't know Cole Black. I think we might have talked about healthcare background, but Cole Black, you know I'm Epic certified. So Cole Black just talked about being in the hospital when this took place, right? And when he says, when Cole Black, I know about, so I broke down to my wife. Epic is the electronic EMR. You have Epic and you have Cerner. Epic is global. Cerner was bought by the military. If it wasn't for the military buying Cerner, everybody would be on Epic. I'm not sure what EMR. EMR stands for electronic medical record. When Katrina happened and everybody medical records was on paper and floating around and they didn't know what medicine to give, that's when Biden made a mandate that we need to move from paper medical records to electronic medical records. They had another debacle in Disney where people were on vacation and nobody knew their medical record, their blood type, and whether or not what type of antibiotics to administer based on their blood type and their medical history. So we indoctrinated EMR, electronic medical records. It was a mandate. It came along with the Affordable Care Act. So when you got the money for the Affordable Care Act to transition your hospital, it also was about a electronic medical record. Now, you could look at the pandemic and say, okay, perfect. That was back 10 years ago. Did they know that the pandemic was coming? Because you can't have telemedicine in the way you had telemedicine in the pandemic without this. Shout out to Mrs. Perfect Timing. So when Cole Black was saying people had went in her chart, he was meaning that electronically there's something called, and probably what happened after Carly became a celebrity, they put glass on her chart where you have to break the glass. And then they know who goes in the chart. But now it's not paper. It's like going to Google and you could put in somebody's name and you could bring up their chart. Unless you have a reason, you can't do that. So I work in my job. A lot of people got fired too because, famous people go to the hospital. So a lot of people in LA lost their job for looking up famous people with the EMR. Can't do that shit. Now, it's kind of fucked up because we live in a time where everybody thinks they have a right to know your vaccination status, which this is the same thing about what Cole Black was talking about. Breaking the EMR is violating HIPAA. Well, when you ask my vaccine status, that's violating HIPAA. Or if you tell someone, or you force me to disclose that, that's a violation of my HIPAA rights. Right? That's what Ice Cube was saying. No one talks about that. Okay, back to Emmett Till. Emmett Till, 14, kidnapped by these two white men because this white woman lied. He was mutilated, tortured, and murdered and thrown in the river. So as I'm doing my research today, I say, okay, wow. Emmett Till's birthday, even if whatever I talk about today, we're going to do a tribute to Emmett Till. I'm listening, shout out to I'm listening 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. Let me get my Sirism in the building. Sirism in the building. Let me get my theme music for my brother, man.
Brand new trend. 5.0 is men elevating men. 5.0 is setting a new trend. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. 5.0, 5.0, let's go. 4.0, let them hoes in the jaw.
Hold on. I don't like that one.
Brand new trend. 5.0 is men elevating men. 5.0 is setting a new trend. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. 5.0, 5.0, let's go. 4.0, let them hoes in the jaw.
Hoes in the dough. 5.0, shut that shit down for show. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. Shout out to my brethren in the chat, Sir Ism, and my brother I'm listening, and the good Wheezy. This is perfect timing. So as I was reading, I said, what's this? Breaking news. President Biden will designate a national monument honoring Emmett Till and his mother. I said, what? President Biden will designate a national monument honoring Emmett Till and his mother. Biden also expected to sign a proclamation on Tuesday, which will be the 82nd anniversary of Till's birth. We will not forget, R.I.P. So now, everybody in the chat, everybody listening in the replay, you now might understand why my thumbnail, which is an awesome thumbnail, looks the way it looks. You got Emmett Till. You got Lewis Till. Lewis Till is Emmett Till's father. A couple weeks ago, we did a review on the Emmett Till movie, and I learned some things about Emmett Till's father that I didn't know. Now, when we talk about Emmett Till, I just told you what happened. A white woman claimed that he whistled at her, told her husband and her brother they kidnapped him, mutilated him, tortured him, murdered him, threw him in the river. The only way, some of the details that came out during the movie is the only way they knew when they went to go drug the river they pulled out 16 dead bodies. Somebody look it up for me. When we did the story, they said they pulled out 16 dead bodies. That's how many. Remember I talked about blacks in tennis, and we did the timeline of how many lynchings there were before Arthur Ashe became the only black man to ever win Wimbledon. I talked about when Joe Jackson was born in 1929. I talked about in the early 1900s how it was 100 lynchings a year. I talked about how Kamala Harris and them is still working on a no lynching bill. How many bodies, put in the chat, how many bodies came out of that lake? Somebody said 15. The only way they was able to tell which body was Emmett Till's, there were so many black bodies being murdered. I said, imagine what it would be like. Black Uru, Black Elder talked about this the other day. I say it a lot because I heard it from Samuel L. Jackson. So when you hear me say an American apartheid, I didn't make that up. I got that from Samuel L. Jackson, another elder, like our elder Black Uru, who lived and experienced apartheid in America. It wasn't a small thing, which is why Samuel Jackson, he was on the Breakfast Club. He said it to Charlemagne, and he had to check Charlemagne. No, I lived then. I'm using that word appropriately. I'm intelligent, little nigga. I know what I'm saying. There was an apartheid in America. I lived through it. When that story Black Uru told about that white water fountain when he was visiting his uncle in the South, you don't know what that's like. Imagine living in Alabama, walking to school when your friend is being disappeared just by walking to school with your belt wrapped around your books, and white men come in the truck, just like Ahmaud Arbery. When they cornered Ahmaud Arbery with those trucks, it was reminiscent of Emmett Till, which is why those men were held for federal hate crimes, which is why they got life in prison, because the district attorney said those pickup trucks, those white men in that area of the South in the pickup truck means something. And that pickup truck was a weapon. That pickup truck was a weapon for racist white men of the South. Emmett Till's father. So did anybody put in the chat yet how many black bodies came out of that lake? Because it's important. It's important why the mom left the casket open, because Joe Biden is going to make a monument to Emmett Till and the mother, not the father. Black men, black manosphere, black men, black YouTube content creators, black Twitter. The white 90-year-old king said he's going to make a monument to Emmett Till and his mother. The movie was about Emmett Till's mother. But how do we know it was Emmett Till who came out of that lake? How many dead bodies was dragged out that lake? I remember 15, I'll say 5. And the only reason they knew it was Emmett Till, he was beaten, tortured, and mutilated so bad he was unrecognizable. The only reason they knew it was Emmett Till, anybody know in the chat? Come on, we know what's going on. Come on, somebody tell me. Come on, y'all, tap in, man. Where my family at? Tap in. Come on, man, tap in. What happened? I need to know how many dead bodies was in the lake. This is important to the next phase of the story now. Joe Biden, your king, if you don't vote for me, you not black. Huh? Joe Biden, your king, if you don't vote for me, you not black, is building a monument and signing something for Emmett Till, huh? And his mama. How many black men were taken out that lake before they knew it was Emmett Till? Y'all look it up. They don't ever talk about this part of the story. Let's say multiple black men were taken out the lake. The only way they knew Emmett Till was from a ring he had from his father. And that brings us to Lewis Till. I wanted y'all to tell me in the chat, but it's okay. I still love y'all. So that brings me to Lewis Till. And I remember the elder Black Uru teaching us about Lewis Till and about the fact that Lewis Till was a Army soldier and a veteran. And that Emmett Till's father was charged and found guilty of a heinous crime while abroad at war. And when Emmett Till was, and when Emmett Till's killers were on trial, now keep this part, this is another part of the story. The two men who killed Emmett Till were arrested very quickly. They were charged with his murder and they were acquitted. During the trial, you know what they used? They used the fact that Lewis Till, Emmett Till's father, was accused of a heinous crime while he was away abroad, and that he was found guilty and put to death. Do y'all hear what I said? Emmett Till's father, I didn't even know they did this in the Army. Emmett Till's father was abroad in the war. He was charged with a heinous crime. He was found guilty and put to death and buried abroad. His mother, his wife, Emmett Till's mother, his wife and son never knew what happened to him until 10 years later when Emmett Till, his son, was murdered, and it got brought up in the court hearing that his father, to cast disparaging light on Emmett Till, to acquit those white men, like I said, they judge you from the stock you come from. They said that Emmett Till's father was committed and hung in the war, and that why it should be found true that Emmett Till, his son, was just like his daddy. Now, I'm not gonna read everything that this Wikipedia says because I don't believe Wikipedia. But one of the things that Wikipedia is saying is that he did not go to the Army of his own volition, that he had an agreement where he went to the Army and they go into things like that. What I will talk about is what the elder shared with me, is when when I read the Wikipedia and when I read the fact that they brought up his death in 1955, what you find is that 10 years later, in 2016, a notable African-American novelist and essayist, John Edgar Wyman, explored the circumstances leading to and including the military conviction of Lewis Till. Military conviction. He was convicted in the military, put to death, and buried abroad. In the partly fictional book, The Lewis Till File, Wyman examines the trial record and compares it to the trial of Emmett Till's killers, calling both a farce, and expresses the belief that the leak of Mr. Till's military record during the 1955 trial was an intentional effort to further demonize Emmett Till and retroactively justify the acquittal of his murders. So Emmett Till's father was framed and put to death for having sex with a white woman. What it says, if you read the Wikipedia, is there was a time in America, in certain states, where a black man, if you were found sleeping with a white woman, it was a crime. There was no consensual sex between a black man and a white woman. Did you guys know that? There was a time in America that there was no consensual sex between black men and white women. A white woman will be found and accused and accosted for sleeping with the black man, and the black man will be criminally charged. This is where the Mann Act comes from, you guys. This is my whole issue with the history of what they used to prosecute R. Kelly. Not just the same crime 20 years later, double jeopardy, but how they used the Mann Act and why the Mann Act was created. It was created to stop black men from sleeping with white women. And you got to talk about the famous boxer. It's in my head because I did a story on it, but I'm not saying it because I can't remember his name. who was set up by the white woman and who was charged with the man at Chuck Berry. It's traditionally used against black men who sleep with white women. And he was abroad, found sleeping with the white woman. In court, the women testified that the murderer and the person who accosted them was a white man. They said it was at night. And when asked, did Lewis commit the crime, the witnesses and the people that were the crime was committed against, everyone said that Lewis and his accomplice, his co-defendant, did not commit the crime. But yet they were still found guilty and put to death. And then the army kept it a secret. His wife kept writing the army to find out what happened to her husband and why he didn't come home from the war. And why didn't she get the money? Because he was dishonored. And he was buried in a cemetery for soldiers who were dishonored, and you don't get the money. They didn't find out what happened to Lewis until her son was murdered. So when they talk about everything that they don't give the whole story. When they say how strong she was and she wanted to open casket, it was a spit in the face to the entire American structure. It wasn't just the fact of an open casket. It was the fact that the two men were acquitted, that the America never gave her the money from her husband, and then they never told her what happened to her husband. She didn't find out what happened to her husband and her child's father until the trial in 1955, where they used it against her dead son. I'm going to say it again. She didn't find out what happened to her husband until the 1955 murder of her son, where they used it in the murder trial against her dead son, Trayvon Martin. So the whole reason why I'm bringing this up today is, how is Joe Biden? Think about this now. Think about everything I said in my intro. For a whole hour, I went in on the black manosphere and the black men in the black manosphere, right? I went in on the Barbie girls. And I redirected again. This is my job. I'm redirecting the black manosphere on what a real focus looks like. What real focus looks like. So Joe Biden, your king, your president, is giving a monument to Emmett Till and the mother, but not rectifying the wrong. The same thing that happened to Emmett Till happened to Lewis Till. Is there any rectification? Is he now honorably discharged? Do the people get the money? We talking about wealth. We talking about reparations. How many black men were denied the military benefits? How many black wives or families, VA loans were denied? We talk about it with the red lining and the color of money. We need to wake up. It's a spit in the fucking face. What do you mean Joe Biden is going to make a monument to Emmett Till and his mother? You haven't rectified the history. DeSantis is saying that slaves benefited from slavery. They changing the Tulsa race massacre to say that black people caused it. And you just think you can say something about the Emmett Till mutilation and kidnapping and not talk about the father, when the only way we knew who Emmett Till was the ring he had on his finger from his father, and that y'all brought up the father's military record in the trial, and to this day you haven't rectified that? If you're going to do anything, Biden, if you're going to do anything, America, you rectify the fact that you killed your own soldier, your own brother. Even if he was guilty of sleeping with a white woman, you don't kill him in a foreign land and bury him in a foreign land. How disrespectful. How could you do that to a soldier who fought and died for you? You try him in a foreign land, you find him guilty in a foreign land, and you bury him? You don't even send him home to his family? That's what they did to Lewis Till. That's why he's in my thumbnail. They railroaded him. They tried him. He never spoke a word in the trial. They didn't have nobody who could testify that he did it. They didn't have no witnesses. And they found him guilty with no evidence. And then they murdered him. They murdered him. And they didn't tell his wife. They didn't tell his family. No one knew what happened to Lewis Till until Emmett Till was murdered. By the same white power structure. No one knew what happened to Lewis Till until his son was murdered by the same power structure. And the men who murdered him were acquitted. To this day, no one, the woman who said that and lied about him whistling, she died a free person. She died free. What you doing? The woman who lied and said he whistled, she died free. Bill Cosby, you found in your hearts and minds, you guys found a way to put an 80-year-old blind man who donated millions of dollars to Spelman, created the best father in the nation, happened to be a black father. Y'all found a way in your hearts and minds to put Bill Cosby in prison. Not at home. You wanted him to go to a Philadelphia penitentiary, not like in a halfway house. You wanted him to be in a prison cell, and it was black people making jokes and laughing about an 80-year-old man blind being in a prison cell. Y'all know how many years he was in the prison cell after being a millionaire. We don't even talk about that. I would love to talk to Bill Cosby and him make a movie, because Bill Cosby has made movies about his oppression. Now, you know his son was murdered. His daughter died. I would love Bill Cosby to do a book. He's done several books. He has a PhD in education. I would love to hear about that time of him being incarcerated, what it felt like after 3 trials, after having a promise from the U.S. government, a district attorney, after having the media lie on you and create a second dossier, having the media lie and create a second. To this day, black men, black Democrat liberal shills believe the second dossier that the media put out, and never have done the research to find out that there was 2, and that Bill Cosby never admitted to giving her drugs or taking drugs on the actual deposition, and that the deposition the media put out was falsified and salacious. Same thing with Emmett Till, same thing with Lewis Till. Happy birthday, Emmett Till. Happy birthday, Emmett Till. How y'all like that? How you like me now? Better than that. How you like me now? Emmett Till, happy birthday. Lewis Till, rest in peace, Lewis Till. And we need to rectify that wrong. Happy birthday, rest in peace, Emmett Till. We need to rectify that wrong. Lewis Till, Emmett Till. Like, we want them to rest in peace. We say that, but how can we say rest in peace when we know the circumstances? What are we doing? That's why I had to do this show today. I mean, I like, there's no more Black Manosphere topic than this white man acknowledging Emmett Till's mother and not rectifying the wrong against his father, of how it even manifested. You wouldn't even know the little boy. You couldn't even tell which body. It was so many black bodies in that water. Y'all almost got away with it. This is why Lewis Till cannot be left out the story. He's in the story. What we said earlier, inculcated. Thank you, KP from KC. I love my brothers. He's inculcated. You can't leave out Lewis Till from the story. There were so many black bodies in the water. The only reason you were able to identify Emmett Till is because of that ring. And the reason that his killers were acquitted is because you brought up Lewis Till's military record in the trial. But it would only be the white Joe Biden 90-year-old king who would leave out Lewis Till. And you, as black man, needing to understand, it's not his responsibility, motherfuckers. We have a digital voice. It's our responsibility. With your digital real estate, hold up a motherfucking sign today and say Lewis Till, Lewis Till, Lewis Till. Fucking Barbie girl ass niggas, you. Fucking Barbie girls. Dealing with a bunch of fucking Barbie girls. So that's my last. No, that's not my last. I got the Barbie, Black Barbie, and I got the student loan part B. My wife in the chat, Deborah, you probably got some all the women, all y'all got some student loan debt. So everybody in the chat with student loan debt, I know y'all want to hear about the student loan story. So before we get to the student loan, let's do Black Barbie because, hey, baby, Mrs. Perfect Timing, did you know Black Barbie is trending today? Let's do hashtag Black Barbie in the chat right now. Mrs. Perfect Timing, that's my beautiful, beautiful wife. She got to meet my mother before she passed. My mother passed before her time. My mother had a Black Barbie collection worth thousands of dollars. I have no idea where they are. I have a daughter, and my daughter has no Black Barbies, ladies and gentlemen. So no telling, cocaine is a hell of a drug. I don't know where my mother's Black Barbies are, but whatever Black Barbie you could think of that's worth the most money, Mama Shirley have 2 of them because she would buy 6 every year. I think they would come out at Christmas or whenever they would come out. So today, what's trending with Black Barbie, all these Black women are showing their Black Barbie collections. And you guys know, I might link that video to this video at the end of this video, so we can't keep this video going. This can't be no 5-hour video. It's already longer than I wanted it to be. But I hope y'all don't hear my massager, because that'll be horrible in the replay. What's that noise? That's my Theragun massaging my back in these long-ass live streams. I need a new gaming chair. But I was very proud of my my Barbie story. My Barbie broadcast. If you haven't watched my Barbie broadcast, you got to go watch it. I mean, it's worthy of binge watching the last 2 weeks of podcasts. I've been back for a couple weeks, right? You guys, how long I've been back? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? It's worthy of binge watching the last 2 weeks of podcasts. And I need everybody to go watch and share and thumbs up on my shorts. Y'all got to do that. I need y'all to do that. I need y'all to watch and thumb up all my shorts. I need y'all help to make the shorts go viral. Because it's like Deborah said, people haven't found us yet to see the knowledge and the talent. Thank you, Deborah. So I agree. And whenever I get a little bit of light, then you see the numbers go crazy because we are 5.0 is the shit, right? So when you guys like and share the shorts, you see the numbers. The numbers go crazy because if people see what we create, they're going to love it. So I love you guys and thank you guys for that. So I was really impressed with the Barbie episode because I showed the doll test. Showed the doll test to my wife. My wife was like real emotional. I assume everybody has seen the doll test. I thought everybody, they did it so many times. It's such an influential thing as Black women, as women who love Black culture, understanding some of the depression when we talked about irritable depression and the mask of depression and the shield of shame, like where it stems from, why Claire Huxtable wouldn't allow the Huxtable women to wear makeup before a certain age. She wanted them to develop an interior beauty because she knew this thing that Black women dealt with that was exacerbated and exposed by the doll test. This is not new. The doll test didn't create it. Barbie didn't create this inferiority complex within Black women. And the superiority complex within white women, it existed. It was already there. The doll test was just a genius way for people to see and understand it on the most primitive level. Because in front of children and out of the mouths of babes, these children are not supposed to be racist. They're not supposed to know that yet. They're not supposed to be exposed to these things yet, right? They're not supposed to be able to have developed intelligence in this area. They shouldn't have race intelligence at 5 and 6 years old, but they did. And when they were asked what doll was the mean doll, over 90% picked the black doll. What doll was the good doll? Over 90% picked the white doll. What doll was the ugly doll? Over 90% picked the black doll. What doll is the cute doll? Over 90% picked the white doll. So I believe the first doll test was in black and white. And then not too much later, look at that. When was the first doll test? Because the first black Barbie was in 1967. Right? The first black Barbie was in 1967. Black Barbie. They even had it in the cartoon. Different hair textures and style. So when was the first doll test? In the 1940s. Damn. And this was during the Brown versus the Board of Education. Damn. Did y'all know that? The first doll test was used in the Brown versus the Board of Education. They used this in integration. Shit. I never knew that. Doctors Kenneth and Mamie Clark, the doll test. A disturbing result. So this is the origins. You don't get a black Barbie. So 1940s, you get integration via the black doll test, and you don't get a black Barbie until 1967. My story was on the fact that a Barbie movie came out with an Aryan, what I believe is an Aryan nation push globally. Because Barbie, there's a lot of different Barbies. As a little boy, I played with little girls. I had G.I. Joes and they had Barbies. So just like this picture of Barbie, where there's different black Barbies, there's so many different white Barbies. You got the brunette, you got the blonde, the redhead. There's so many different Barbies. But for some reason, in the Barbie film that's just came out with the $1 billion global push during the Ukraine, during white flight, during the first time in American history where the Americas is less than majority white. It's less than 60% white. By the end of this decade, it will be a majority minority country. White people at less than 0% birth rate. It's supposed to be woke. Snow White is Latina. Little Mermaid was black, but yet Barbie. In the view of Lizzo, Nicki Minaj, Little Kim, all this wokeness, BBW, big, bold, and beautiful, no body shaming, POC, people of color, you have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Aryan Barbie, ladies and gentlemen. A blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Hitler-esque Aryan Ken. Have you looked at Ken? This is the Aryan that Hitler talked about. When you look at Ken, and that's not even his real eye color or his real hair. Ken's hair was not that bright blonde color, but the Ken that they're presenting to you in 2023 is Aryan. Azov Battalion. Azov Nazi Ukraine Battalion. I know Ken had blonde hair, but in the movie, Ken has a bleached blonde, Aryan physique and look. Barbie herself has this Aryan, bleached blonde, blue-eyed physique and look. They can say, perfect, it's just a doll. It's not a doll. It's 2023, and we're on the verge of World War III. And the white people who run the Azov Battalion, who made it into the Ukraine parliament, want a world war over race. They say they want the final conflict, a fight over race. The Austrians who are supporting the Ukrainians, who are the writers and the proliferators of the "you will not replace me" racist ideology, are under threat of non-existence in the same way whites are in Western America, because they say they are being overran by African and Indian immigrants. And when you come to Austria, I just showed a story the other day where they have complete Muslim towns in Austria. And they're saying if the influx, what's happening in America is happening globally. The people coming across the border is happening in Europe. This is the genesis and the catalyst behind Brexit. They wanted to stop the influx and stop whiteness from dying. It's all about white power. Barbie is about white power. Those Austrians are supporting the Ukraine effort in the effort to support whiteness. So it matters that Barbie was blonde, blue-eyed Aryan with her Nazi boyfriend, blonde, blue-eyed Ken, and that there was little to no representation of black Barbies in the film. Little to no representation of black Barbies in the film. And that's just the truth. So when I looked, all I saw was Issa Rae. You see her on my thumbnail, non-ADOS, FBA, black male hating, ABS, Issa Rae. This is who we accept. This is the crumbs. She's not even Barbie in the film. And you know what I saw that was sad? Picture after picture of women, black women. Oh, let me read that, because that shit. Go back to that, because that was Paris. That was Paris stealing my. That was Paris stealing my tagline. It took it away. Damn it. That was Paris talking about the lack of black Barbies and the lack of black women being represented. Because what you have online today is a lot of MAGA white folks upset because everybody's talking about their black Barbie collection. And now here we go as we talk about the doll test, right? This is a black Barbie. I want to show, this is what I want to show today as we talk about Carly Russell. Let's check this out. Shayla says, black moms everywhere work too hard hunting down exclusive black Barbies for you to get on Beyonce's internet and lie like this. The black Barbie betting was a staple in the 1990s. All these black girls want to be Barbies when they know damn well wasn't no black Barbie dolls growing up. Y'all just hop on trends and blindly run with it. So what's happening on social media is this fractured black consciousness where you see black women in a earlier, God is good. I talked to you about progression of the black manosphere. I talked to you about what happened when the black father was taken out of the home, that blackness was taken out of the home, right? And you see the result. I said what happened was black women were then granted white privilege, and they raised non-black melanated children, little black boys who kill other black boys and impregnate black girls without caring. Being raised by non-black melanated women who identify more with a white Barbie and a white Jesus than they do their black men. Who identify better with a white Barbie and a white Jesus than you do your black son. I see in here, I've been teaching you guys to be able to read between the lines and hear what's not being said. If you're able to read between the lines and hear what's not being said, then you get this fractured consciousness that I see of black women who can't identify and don't understand how they're hurting themselves. Maybe they don't connect this to the doll test. I don't know how. When there's a white man and white women right here telling you that Barbie is white, that you can appropriate whiteness, black woman, it's too late. It's too late. Look at Issa Rae. You can't tell Issa Rae she ain't white. Look at her nose. Look at her hair. Everything about her is white girl-esque. Nothing about her says Negro. Nothing about her says black. Look at her smile, her face. It's like you took a white girl and painted her with a crayon. Nothing about her says ethnic. Her ethnic nose has been removed. Her ethnic lips has been given to the Cardinals. The funny part is, all of the ethnicity that was once on her face, now it's on some white woman somewhere. The ass and titties she once had, now is on some white woman somewhere. Ain't that some shit? Black women appropriating, cribbing white culture, and at the same time, white women, Rachel Dolezal, thick ass on OnlyFans, cribbing and appropriating black female culture. God, dog, perfect. Great show. Great show. Great show. Boy, that boy be bringing it home. Boy, that boy be bringing it home. Boy, that boy be bringing it home. How's that for a tie-in for you motherfuckers? How's that for a tie-in for you motherfuckers? What a motherfucking podcast. What else we got, man? What the fuck else we got, man? It's a couple pictures of some black women with $1,000 Barbie collections. You know what I'm saying? Showing some more of this delusion. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. President Barbie is a black Barbie. Look at this shit. It's like there are no black Barbies in this movie, y'all. There is no black representation. But this is what sells. The lie, when we talk about, look, no black women. No black women. She's not even black. She's African and allowing herself to be used in this film. No Nicki Minaj, no Lil' Kim, no Lizzo, no BBW. Nike has a BBW mannequin. And look at the one who started all of this shit. Look at the one who started all this shit, Miss Diane Carroll, the one from the Single Mother magazine and the TV show, the architect of feminism and the black anocracy. Miss Diane Carroll having Julia dolls in 1969 by Mattel. It's one of the first black dolls in movie star size famous person doll that was done by Mattel. She had her black Barbie. There were 2 versions. Never heard of it. Never heard of you. So I can't scroll through Twitter because Twitter be up to no good. So I wanted to show one of the collections and the money that's wasted on this shit, man. I wanted to show one of these collections and what black women, I mean, I want to know what y'all think. Do y'all believe that Issa is a black Barbie in the film? They call her President Barbie. Do y'all accept that Issa is actually a Barbie? Is she a Barbie character? I'm saying no. I'm saying there are no black Barbies in the film. And I'm saying there's a delusional aspect occurring right now, right? With the identity of black America and black women as it relates to this film. And that the lie is just going to keep being propagated. Like, and this fact that, and what you hear people saying is we need a Barbie 2 with a black Barbie. But then some people are saying there is a black Barbie. So what is it? It's gone. It's gone. So I'm going to move on. Let's go to our last story. The last story is the Joe Biden Plan B. Let's go to Joe Biden Plan B. I'm starving. Y'all heard about LeBron James, son? I want to pray a covering over my children. I pray for everybody in the chat. Be blessed. Thank you for all of our blessings, man. Super blessed, man. Where I want to go, I have a couple stories. So we did when you go live every day, it's great to be have the continuity because we're able to complete stories. And so this story is about the Plan B. So baby, remember in this story, I believe it talks about President Biden, Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona has revealed the next steps for offering students relief and the Biden administration's Plan B before student loan payments resume in October. So I did the story on the affirmative action in the same week. Biden student loan promise. Now, I'm not going to bring it up, but right now, when I did my research, you can go online. There's a studentloanforgiveness.org. 40-some million people. What was it? 20? So millions of people apply for the studentloan.org. When I told you the story, I broke down the story too, because I don't know if everybody broke down this story about the student loan forgiveness and Biden and what actually happened. Biden made a campaign promise. It was actually $1 trillion campaign promise. I showed you the actual $1.6 trillion that he wanted to fix the student loan debt. That got broke down to some $300 billion. And then like he just said, Miguel, his Department of Education, I broke down to you the cabinet. Pete Buttigieg is the head of the Department of Transportation, despite having any experience, but he got that job. And then you have a Department of Defense, and then you have a Department of Education, right? So Biden became president. He directed his Department of Education to create a website to fulfill his campaign promise. And guess what? Millions of people applied. Millions of people got emails. Millions of people got approved for student loan forgiveness. Yay! Supreme Court said no. Took it all back. We did the story. $430 billion taken away. When people never understood the number. Where did the number come from? The number came from the fact. Now think about your American country. As people talk about America being a third world country, America going down, America not being America no more. America, the White House, this is so powerful to unpack, you guys. The White House, the Biden administration, not PG&E, not Macy's, not JCPenney's. Your government.org put out a website. The Department of Education, FAFSA. You get your FAFSA. You get your money. You get your PIN from the same people who give you your FAFSA, from the same people who give you your loans, probably on a similar website, probably a link on the FAFSA website leading to you to this website. People applied for forgiveness and were granted forgiveness. Over 20 million people. That's the complexity and the nuances of the story. It's not just the Supreme Court saying Biden overstepped. It's like you allowing someone to apply for a driver's license, giving them the driver's license, and when they drive the car, arresting them for driving the car. That's what your government did to you with this. Do you understand? Some people purchase homes, some people purchase cars, some people went on vacation based on the fact, when I say some people, I mean 20 million people, based on the fact that their student loans were forgiven, like legitimately received the email. Anybody in the chat, anybody in the replay, if your mama or your auntie got an email from the studentloanforgiveness.org, send it in to the Perfect Time Podcast. I would love to show it. I would love to present that here. Let's look online and see if they got a loan forgiveness email. Let's look for a student loan forgiveness acceptance email, approval email. More student loan forgiveness coming. I don't want that. I want an old one. This story didn't receive a student loan forgiveness emails. 16 student loan forgiveness approval emails sent to thousands. This is July 16, 2023. Student loan forgiveness emails sent to thousands as new program gains steam. So this is what y'all dealing with. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, what do those people do with that piece of paper? So beyond that, I shared with you guys that I didn't know that there wasn't a moratorium. My wife has student loans. I didn't know that there wasn't a moratorium for the past 3 years and nobody was paying student loans. And I believe I'm the first black man in the Black Manosphere to share with everybody. Warn your auntie, warn your cousin that they student loans gonna be kicked back up October, and people gonna be getting them phone calls threatening to fuck up your credit and threatening to snatch your tax return. Oh yeah, in October. Right in time for them to call you in December and January and threaten you about you not getting your tax return. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? So Biden came out with a plan B today. Biden Secretary of Education discusses Plan B after Supreme Court shuts down student loan forgiveness. Cardona exclusively spoke with I feel upset that 43 million people that really need that relief. Cardona said those are people we're fighting for. If we can provide support for banks, airline companies, and small business, blah, 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 blah. Biden administration still wiping out $39 billion in student loans for over 800,000 people. I gave you the percentages. That's less than 3% of what he promised. That's 3%. It was 430 billion that they had paid, promised to be paid out. However, about 2 weeks after the Supreme Court shot down its initial forgiveness plan, the Biden administration is still wiping upwards of 39 billion student loan for 800,000 people. Initially, it was like 430 billion and 20 million people. And now we down to 800,000, a fraction, like 3% of what they promised. A lot of your listeners are public servants. They might not even know that we fixed public loan forgiveness system. We are continuing to deliver critical student debt relief to students and families today. This is like the website is releasing state by state data on 800,000 borrowers who earned 39 billion automatic loan relief through fixes to the income-driven repayment plans. So it's going to be an automatic adjustment. 45 billion in loan forgiveness allocated to public civil workers. And this is a story that says, I was one of the borrowers who paid student loans for 28 years, and Biden admin's new debt forgiveness plan, it really is a burden that no American family should have to continue to suffer paying off loans for 20 years. I'll be paying $5 a month. That's why it took 20 years. You ain't even paid off the interest. Paying $5.
Is this the right way to do it? And will this survive the kind of legislative and even judicial scrutiny that the other plan did not?
Well, thank goodness for President Biden really acting on behalf of student borrowers. I mean, I was one of those borrowers who paid student loans for 28 years and fell through the cracks. And so I think the president is continuing to look for avenues to do this. Yes, he's going to get pushback from the Congress, and he may even get challenged in the legislature. But good for him for looking for another avenue to do what he promised, to deal with 800,000 borrowers who may be forgiven up to $39 billion in student loans. And so I say good for him for doing that, because it's really a burden that no American family should have to continue to suffer for after paying off loans for 20 years.
Is this?
So it's still not concrete. It's another campaign promise. He doesn't have the money or the power to even pay this $39 billion. So this a lie when the Department of Education said that they were going to do it again. It's another campaign promise. Because the first thing they said was, does he have the support of the Senate and the Congress? Does he have the support, and will they push back again? They just denied this on the Supreme Court level. Will he have the support? So again, it's a promise. Puff of smoke. More Barbie for you guys. More pink fluff. All right. One last thing I want to discuss is LeBron James' son. You know, I got young children. And Gilly the Kid's son was murdered. He was 25. You know, Black Uru was talking about this shit. Like, it's writing on the wall, man. Y'all not paying attention, brothers and sisters. I really want y'all to pay attention. It's writing on the wall. You know, when the war is fought, like, y'all think that this shit is happening today. It's not happening today, everybody. This war has been going on for a minute. Like, and now you see the casualties of our actions and our lack of inaction. What you are seeing is the casualties of our lack of action. and our inaction. I think more death, more destruction, more confusion is coming. More Carly Russells, more Gilly Sons, more Bronnies, because that's what the production of all this 50 years of single parent homes. It only makes sense that we're going to keep seeing more of this. Yes, you're going to see more of this. That's all we have to offer. So LeBron James' son has a heart attack at practice. Number one, he's not going to the NBA. I don't know why he's not going to the NBA. Guess he doesn't need the money. So remember, I told y'all about college and the proximity to power and elites. And LeBron is thinking about all the people that he pays to manage his money and invest his money. And he wants his son to be able to play basketball on the NBA level. But he also wants his son to not be a person who has to hire people to do everything. Remember, Shaq just did an interview where he went back to college. So I do understand him wanting his son to go to college for the educational purposes of not having to hire someone when you have billions of dollars. He's going to have $1 billion empire. Like Swiss Beats went to business school. It is important that LeBron James Jr.'s son, it would be important for him to go and maybe go to Wharton, go to a business school, get a law degree in business, because you have $1 billion empire to manage. That would be more important than playing basketball and creating more billions. That'd be great. LeBron Jr. go play basketball, create more billions, but it would be more important if one of you children went the Ivy League road like hot sauce, went to Wharton, and would be able to manage your family's money. And you would never have to include anyone else. That's real power, right? So I commend him on doing that. So let's look at this video and send our prayers out to LeBron James Jr. We don't know what happened. We do know he was in the ICU. He's out of the ICU and he's doing good. So let's pray and say thank God for that. So LeBron James Jr. had a heart attack. Let's look at the video. Fair use.
Family, and we will update media when there is more information. LeBron and his wife Savannah wish the public send their deepest thanks and appreciation to the USC medical and athletic staff for their incredible to the hospital. He is now in stable condition and no longer in ICU. We ask for respect and privacy for the James family, and we will update media when there is more information. LeBron and his wife Savannah wish the public send their deepest thanks and appreciation to the USC medical and athletic staff for their incredible work and dedication to the safety of their athletes. Okay, so Stephen A., thank God he is in stable condition. Your reaction to this whole situation?
I just heard a couple of minutes ago, I was scared to death when I heard the news. Checked with some people. They said he's okay. Obviously, before I saw the family statement, they were saying he's okay and he's doing better. Anybody associated with the world of sports, specifically the basketball community, remembers what happened with Hank Gathers on a basketball court in March of 1990. They remember what reportedly happened to Reggie Lewis, formerly of the Boston Celtics, in 1993. And when you hear that, it scares you to death, because these are the kind of things that are an anomaly, but nevertheless are incredibly possible. And so, you know, when you hear about this, anything we've heard about Bronny James, we're thinking about an All-American. We're thinking about somebody that obviously has aspirations of being in the NBA. We've heard the great LeBron James allude to wanting to play, his dream is to play in the NBA with his son, et cetera, et cetera. And all of that gets thrown to the wayside when it comes to something like this, because if you know anything about LeBron James, anything at all, you can say whatever you want. People could be critical. People can say whatever they want, but nobody debates what a wonderful, loving father he is and how much he loves his children, especially Bronny. We see Bronny everywhere. We see him talking about Bronny all the time. His wonderful wife and the mother, and Bronny's mother, Savannah, first class all the way, just a wonderful human being. They've got a great, great family. And Bronny has never, ever done anything to besmirch or sully the James name in any way. He, by all accounts, is an absolutely wonderful kid that we look at and we hope the best for. And that was just as a basketball player, because of his aspirations and being LeBron James' son. When you hear something like this, you just thank the good Lord that the medical staff was there in attendance, that he wasn't practicing by himself with nobody around, that there were people there to see and what transpired and ultimately come to the rescue. And we don't know how it's cardiac arrest, so obviously it's serious, but we don't know the intricate details. I'm just thankful, thank the good Lord that he's doing okay, and that whatever caused this is something they will identify and alleviate as soon as possible, so he can restore his life back.
That I think is the most important, because he's just 18, he's a freshman, and finding the impetus
Yes.
of what caused this
That's right.
and dealing with it and rectifying. So hopefully there's no problems absolutely in the future, but thank God that he is okay and he's in stable condition. So wishing him and the family all the best and a full, complete, speedy recovery.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports.
So that's the story right there. It's prayers go out. Pray for him. There's another piece to the story. You got to be careful about this piece. But all of this stuff, there's another piece to the story that you got to be careful talking about. And it was in the New York Post. And Elon Musk sent out a tweet. And they said Elon Musk is questioning about what may have caused the heart attack, right? So we got to be careful. I'm looking for the here's the Elon Musk tweet right here. So I'm not even going to read it out. I'm not even going to read it out, but I'll just say Elon Musk tweeted and made the story even bigger about how and why he felt this may have happened, and he is trying to broaden the discussion. He's trying to broaden the discussion. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And you guys can do the research if you want to research it. But basically, Elon Musk weighed in via Twitter, or the new name is Twitter X or X. It's been rebranded to X or Twitter X. But Elon Musk weighed in his opinion as to what may have caused the heart attack with LeBron James. He's getting a lot of pushback on that. So we're not even going to repeat what he tweeted. I'm just going to notify you that Elon Musk, owner of Twitter, 44 billion, owner of Tesla, SpaceX, he had an opinion on it pretty quickly, and a pretty strong opinion. So I just wanted to share that. Solo layout. That's it, man. That's it, man. Great show, man.